Hello and welcome to the first edition of DK and Gray here on AFL NTV, where we'll be previewing the weekend's matches in the lead up to the TIO NTFL Grand Final. Gray Morris joins me from NT News. Gray, great to have you with us today.
Thanks, David.
We're really looking forward to round 17 this week. There's some interesting matches. We're going to go through them one by one. The first, Tiwi Bombers taking on Waratahs at Gardens Oval. Gray, it should be an interesting affair.
Big game for the Tiwis this one, David. They're still a game and a half out of the 5, and they've got to beat Waratahs or it's all over.
Well, it's been a turbulent time for Waratahs after Christmas as well. They haven't had the best form moving into this match.
Not playing good football at all, Waratahs. It's been a very ordinary end of the season. I'm sure Brenton Toy and his troops have got a bit of work to do in the off-season.
Did you predict that Tiwi would only have just the 4 wins going into a round 17 match?
Well, that's right. 18 points after, 16 rounds is amazing. But they have made some big changes this week. I got the team just a while ago, and I can tell you that Shane Tippett-Mountainery is back, so is Paul Scanlon.
Well, some big ins there for Tiwi. That game at Gardens Oval from 1 o'clock on Saturday. So the next game that is on the agenda, Wanderers taking on Palmerston Football Club. It's a clutch match for the Magpies. There's still a glimmer of hope there for Dean Rioli's men, Gray.
Just a sniff. I was on the phone to Dean a while ago. He reckons they can win this one, which is a big call.
It's round 17. You're Paul Motlop. You've obviously rested a lot of players in the game last weekend. How do you approach this one? Do you try and get some continuity in the side? Well,
you'd have to, wouldn't you? It's a great chance to have a look at their depth. Young kid Bo Cabillo was terrific last week in his first game. That's the type of thing Paul will be looking at in the last 2 rounds.
And also for Palmerston, it's been a remarkable turn in form, and I think that a lot of the credit has to go to Dean Rioli for that.
Well, he was saying before they were zipping 6, and they looked like they were lucky to win even a game. And they won 5 of the last 9. And you're right, they've got a sniffer getting into the final, so wouldn't it be a terrific thing?
It certainly would be. That game at Gardens from 3:15, and all that action will be live on ABC. Well, Nightcliff have signed their head coach, Damien Hale, for another 2 years, so he's obviously doing something right, Gray. And they play Buffaloes this weekend at 4 o'clock at BM Insurance Oval. They should get the job done, Gray.
Going along beautifully, the Tigers. As you say, they play the Buffaloes at their home ground, BM Insurance Oval. And they're cock-a-hoop. The coach, as you say, has just re-signed to the end of the 15-16 season. They've got a very good side there. They're just starting to gel at the right time, I think.
And obviously the Buffaloes have been disappointing this season. Did we see anything? We saw a little bit from them last week against Palmerston, though?
Just a little bit. We saw a little bit of them in the first 10 rounds. For the last 5 or 6, they have dropped away, the Buffaloes, and I'm sure Mark Motlop and his crew will be doing some furious recruiting in the off-season. Furious.
Nightcliff have got a lot of height in their side. The conditions at the moment, we've had a lot of rain up here in Darwin. Do you think the conditions will suit them moving into the finals with the height that they've got?
Nightcliff, yeah, they've got sort of mids and talls, haven't they? They're the right mix. Whether talls are going to suit, because obviously looking out behind us, I'm sure your viewers can see the overcast conditions. It's going to be probably the same for the next 5 or 6 weeks. So you're right, they're going to need guys that can get the ball out of packs, out of stoppages, and also a bit of height around the ground as well, especially up forward.
Are they a smoky moving into the finals?
Well, it's a very well-known football down. He said to me the other day, have a good look at Nightcliff. They've got 12 recruits who are coming together, as I said before, at the right time of the year. And I just wonder whether that's what they plan to all on, the Tigers, to come from the play-ups. Who knows?
Who knows, Gray? And I'm sure you'll keep that football identity to yourself for now, and you might have the last laugh. The Tigers may, in fact, have the last laugh after what's been a huge premiership drought. That game, as we said, at BM Insurance Oval from 4 p.m, Buffaloes taking on Nightcliff. Well, with third spot on the line, the word on the street is that Southern Districts are taking their game against St Mary's at the weekend very seriously. They want to do one better than their close loss earlier in the season and knock St Mary's off for the first time in how many rounds, Gray?
Well, St Mary's going over for 35 in a row. So
35 wins in a row. That's an incredible effort. Will it end this week?
Don't think so. I mean, as much as I'm sure the average footy fan out there would love to see it, because I think St Mary's even deep down would admit that probably a defeat wouldn't do them all that much harm. But, gee, you have a look at that side, though. They've got Cameron Island back on the side this week, of course. Ewing's down there, Darren Ewing, Peter McFarlane, Justin Wilson. It just goes on and on. And Yes, and as you said, districts have loaded up. They've brought back who I believe is a dark horse for the Nichols Medal, in Richard Tambling.
Richard Tambling.
The former Richmond and Adelaide champion, of course. He's back on the side. I believe he's a dark horse for the medal. Then, you know, you've got some terrific players down there at districts, but gee, beating St Mary's, big task.
Well, there you go. There's a side that boasts 3 top 4 draft picks in Jared Brennan, Des Headland and Richard Tambling that could potentially, all 3 of them could play on the weekend, yet they go in as underdogs. It's incredible that can happen in NT footy, Gray.
It's an amazing thing, really, but as we said, St Mary's, they've got depth, they've got class, and they hate losing. So, districts boys, good luck.
Well, that's the word from Gray Morris here today. Good luck to Southern Districts on the weekend. They're probably going to need it, I'd agree. So we'll go with your tips to wrap things up, Gray. In the first game, Tiwi taking on Waratahs.
Going to go for the Tiwi's fairly comfortably there, David.
And the second game, Wanderers taking on Palmerston.
Gee, Wanderers are down on a bit of depth, but down on a bit of class too, but I still think they'll beat Palmerston.
Buffaloes taking on Nightcliff.
Nightcliff easily.
Nightcliff easily. And the last game, Southern Districts and St Mary's.
St Mary's easily.
Well, thanks very much for joining us today. Gray, I've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it as well. We're looking forward to bringing you plenty more DK and Gray action later in the future on AFL NTV. Stay with us.